I haven't done any casting experiments for a while. Let's give it a go. Hey guys. I've been pleased with my recent castings, and I'm finding I can capture detail fairly consistently these days. As I've been turning my hand to CAD work as well, I've been wondering just how little depth I need to capture detail. In the past, I've always erred on the side of caution, raising faces by at least 0.5 millimeter or more. But could I get away with less? If you look at a coin, for example, there's so little height in the layers that they can barely be felt, and whilst I know coins are stamped rather than cast, I fancied finding out what I could achieve. So I set about creating a coin. Its dimensions were 40mm wide and 2.5mm deep, which is pretty large for a coin. My aim was to draw something into existence using thin layers of virtual clay. Depth is something I have trouble with in CAD sculpture. It's hard to gauge just how proud your details will stand from the surface. If it's not deep enough, detail might not show. If it's too deep, it may stand out too proudly and look odd. I guess that's the sort of thing you need to learn through experience, but I fancied getting a head start on it. When I was making my tentacled kraken ring a few weeks ago, a few folks said that they thought that it was going to be Squidward. As if I would ever do anything like that. Of course, a coin has two sides to it. So what could I add to the other? Handsome Squidward, of course. I will say at this point, when I drew this first side, I felt I was laying on the clay too thick. So on the second side, I strived to be more subtle. Only a print would determine the truth. Printing on my Frozen Sonic 4K using the Seratek cast resin, I was astounded by the results. I expected the layer lines, even though I maximised the anti-aliasing, as I'd printed the coin vertically. But it felt huge to me. Obviously it's not, but it felt it. And the details practically leapt forward, it was so prominent. So I couldn't resist. I had to print one that was 60% the size of the first one. And I may as well do a 50%. And why not try 40% as well? I was certain these wouldn't print, but I gave them a go anyway. But print they did, and whilst it might be too difficult for you to see, I could actually discern some detail. Now I was feeling intrigued enough to try casting them. The smallest print was tiny, and just a tad over 1mm in depth. I didn't hold out much hope, but that's what experiments are for. Incredibly, all 4 have cast. Whether we can see anything on them or not is another matter. Well, they've come out surprisingly well. I would imagine you're probably seeing them magnified on a screen, so the smallest ones may look a little vague, which they are, but in the real world, in my hand, they look great. It's truly surprised me. This smallest coin is barely a millimetre deep. I never imagined it would cast, but here's the proof. On close-up, the detail is vague, and so maybe I'm finding the limits of 3D printing to casting. But more experiments are needed before I can say that. But overall, it's clear that the slightest depth can register as detail, so keep that in mind in your CAD work. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment into casting extremes. So take care guys, and thanks for watching.